Hi LinkedIn. Just landed in Bucharest and I had an interesting conversation with the Uber driver on the way here. And it's a question I get asked quite a lot, so I thought I'd actually share my thoughts on it. Where he was asking me, I have two young sons, and he asked me how often do I travel and how does that work with my job, with my career, and my family life. And I actually think it's an interesting point, and you'd often hear some of the most influential people in the world discussing you're never going to get that time back with family. You should always be there. But I think that it's a good medium. There's a good balancing point. So for me personally, I still feel that I can be successful at home and within my career by doing what I'm doing. So anybody who I ever speak to, I'll always tell them that I really enjoy traveling to meet clients. I love what I do. I love the workshops that we run. I love discussing Tom Talks and everything about LinkedIn and the ecosystem and how it's changing lives. But at the same time, there is that balance between being at home and being a good father to my sons. And for me personally, what I try and do and how my family life has changed is knowing that I have travel coming up, I'll make that extra effort at home. For example, yeah, my son is just taking up music and guitar. So yesterday we spent all day just singing and playing guitar, and we had lunch together and we had a nice dinner and we just generally had some fun. He was awake this morning when I was leaving, kissed him goodbye, said I love you. And then my other son, who's only 10 months, doesn't really have a clue what's going on. But I do try and make that effort to have that balance, I suppose. And I think that's where the question comes in. And the reason I wanted to do a video on this is I had a conversation with one of my colleagues in the office during the week, and she was asking me about the role that I play and what do I do and in terms of travel. Now she actually travels a lot more than I do. So I travel every second month or about a week or so. Sometimes it has been longer, sometimes there's been occasions where I've traveled for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, but generally speaking it's for a week or so every second month. And she was making a joke that out of every month she's traveling maybe 2.5 weeks, and her husband's going to leave her. Now it was just a joke, but it does raise an interesting point. And what is a good balance? Can you travel and meet clients 2 or 3 weeks out of a month but still have that family life to come back to? How do you struggle to strike that balance? And that's really the question of today's video: is what is the balance? What works, what doesn't work? So I'd love to hear from people who do travel or have to go and meet their clients face to face in some capacity, so they're actually away from home. But what do you do that maybe I don't, or what do you do to strike that balance? I'd love to know your thoughts. Just leave your comments down below.